So hello everyone, welcome to Spentarn learning platform. And from the high kind of intensity of my voice, you can easily understand that the topic of today is very much interesting. So the topics that we will be going to cover today from the GFJ is all of these stuff that are not being included in the previous video. So that is the keyword, the statement and indentation, what is comment, what is variables, right? So these all stuff we will be discussing today, right? So first of all, let me tell you what is comment because I will be using comment before any kind of topic when we will be going to start. For an example, if I'm going to start here comment, so we need to understand that what is comment. From the first line itself, you can understand that what is comment. Comment is something when the interpreter or compiler just neglect that and compile the program or interpret the program from the next line. So basically, this is our comment. When I use hash in front of any statement, it will become our single line comment, right? This is our comment. Okay. For an example, if I want to write like my name or our company's name, Spentarn, right? And I can give the spaces as well because it is a single line comment. I can have very multiple kind of keywords in front of it in a single line. But if I go to another line and just write the same thing, Spentarn, you can see if I just simply run this program, it will give me an error for this line only. See, it is giving me error on this line, third line, Spentarn. Why? It is saying that name Spentarn is not defined. But what about the upper one? It is not giving me any kind of error. Why? Because the upper one is our comments. So comment is basically that in which the compiler does not go to compile it and just neglect that and move to the next line, right? So by using the hash, we can have the single line comment. If I want to use the multi-line comment, what I can do? For an example, I'm having a very huge kind of paragraph that I want to write and want to ignore that, right? So that my compiler would not interpret it or compile it and do not throw any error to me. So in this case, what I can use is the multi-line comment. How I can do the multi-line comment? For an example, if I want to write the kind of my introduction, so I can write it. So my name is Puneet Vashistha, and I am your instructor today. And in the next line, I want to write basically I have initiated other platforms too, right? I have written this one. Now, what I want them to be ignored by the Python compiler or interpreter, whatever you say. I've already told you what is the difference between interpreter and compiler. Let me recall to you. If the program is being compiled whole at once, it would be just considered to be the compilation, or the compilation of program is being done by the compiler. If the program is being checked line by line, then it would be considered as interpreting, or interpreter is being interpreting the program, right? So in this case, if I want to ignore this one, what I can do? I can use the multi-line comment. How I can use the multi-line comment? You have to do simply what? You have to use here this at the end as well. So basically, by using the hash, you can have the single line comment. And if you want to use the multi-line comment, then you have to use these symbols, these three upper kind of braces, right? So these three braces, and this one is our opening brace and this one is our closing braces, right? I am using here whatever you say. So we have to use this, and I can write any number of lines inside it. And our Python interpreter will be going to just leave those. Okay. Now these are our comments. So we got what is comment, right? Sorry. Now the next topic, we have understood the comment, what is comment. Now the next topic is our variables, right? So I'm just taking it as a comment because I want to let you know what is variable here, right? Now let's take an example. If you go to a kitchen and just want to make the tea, what you will do is you will just take some kind of tea leaves, some kind of sugar, and some of the other stuffs like cardamom, cloves, and just put everything into the water and just boil it. So please tell me from which container you have take out the sugar. There is a specific container for the sugar in every home, I guess, right? Okay. So that particular container in which is fixed that yes, sugar would be put into this kind of container, so that can be considered as our kind of the storage, right? Storage container, right? Or wherever we want to store something, it would be considered as storage container, right? Similarly here, if I want to store any kind of data, I need to have some kind of storage kind of thing in which I can store my data, right? So if I talk about by if we do the web development, there we have databases, right? Now if we do the programming simply, if we used to store some kind of data, right? A simple data like integer, float. I will let you know what are these. So integer, float, string. So all these data I want to store in a particular kind of set. So which is known as variable, right? Now for an example, I want to store an integer. So a equals to, so I want to store 9, right? I cannot directly write 9 and just run this program. It will give me 9 only, right? But it is not stored anywhere because I cannot use it again and again. I have to write simply 9 and 9. This thing I have to write. Then only I can just run this program. But what if I want to assign this value to a particular kind of variable or a storage kind of container which I can use again and again in the further programming. So let us suppose I am just writing a equals to 9. That means this is our assignment operator which is assigning the value of 9 to the a, right? So our right side value will be assigned to the left side. So 9 is being assigned to a. Now a is containing what value? 9, right? I hope you got the variable. What is variable basically? Variable is something which is stored the data, right? Whether it is a string, whether it is integer, whether it is a float, I will let you know what are these things. But just remember these things, that whatever the thing, whatever the kind of variable is there, it will store our data, right? Now the next thing is keyword. See, here most of the guys got confused at what is variable and what is keyword. For your simplicity, let us take an example. You go to the kitchen, you have 3 containers and you bought some kind of stuff from the market. First one is your sugar, second one is your pulses, and third one is your, let us suppose, cardamom or cloves, right? Now please tell me, there is a specific container for sugar, right? But those other containers would act like we can store anything in that, right? So the container which is having the fixed kind of value, that is sugar, would act like our keyword, right? But the other 2 containers in which we can store anything can act as a variable in our Python, right? So keyword is a kind of fixed kind of variable which we can say, which is already defined in Python, having the particular or a kind of meaning in Python. So that would be considered as keyword. For an example, if I write here else and want to store 9, is it right? No, because it is already giving me this red line. Why? because else is our keyword. We cannot assign any value to else, right? You cannot put the cardamom or any kind of pulses in the sugar container, right? So similarly here, I cannot put 9 into the else because else is already defined in the Python and having a specific meaning, right? So the keyword is something which is having the definite kind of value and is being defined already in the Python and having a certain kind of meaning. Okay, but variable is something. For an example, if I want to write cha cha equals to 10, is it right? Yes, because Python doesn't know what is cha cha. In general language, cha cha is our uncle. We all know, but Python doesn't know what is cha cha, so it can be act as a variable. Okay. So keyword is something which is having the definite value or is already defined, having a certain meaning in Python, but variable is something which we can use to store anything, any our data, right? So I hope you got what is keyword, what is variable, what is comment, right? One more thing I here which we will be going to discuss is indentation, right? Indentation we are going to discuss. What is indentation then? Indentation is something like space. Okay, indentation is our space. We can directly write it as space. What is that space? For an example, if you for an example, if you are writing if 9 is greater than 8, and we are just giving this colon here, and if I just uh, hit enter, it will give me some kind of space here, right? Again, I'm just doing this. If I just write if or while, I'm just taking while loop. You do not have to remember what is while, what is if. I will let you know in the further videos. While I'm just writing 9 is less than 12, right? And just giving it colon and just hitting enter and just writing print 10, right? You can see here it is giving me a kind of space here. So this is our indentation, which is somehow very important in Python programming, which will let us know that yes, there is a loop or there is something uh, which is in parentheses. We are not directly using parentheses here, but it will act as a parenthesis for our programming language in Python. Okay, so this is the indentation space, which is required in the Python programming to identify the loops, to identify different kind of conditional statements. Because while we will be using if else statement, there is an indentation, right? So I have let you know that what is comment. I will let you know variables, keyword, indentation spaces. I hope it is all clear to you. So we will move to the next video or next lecture, and we'll discuss further more topics, very interesting topics. Okay, so thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for just joining the Spentarn learning platform.